What do you think about this one, Phil? I was talking to someone, I just said your name. It's like, oh, you mean the Godfather? How does that make you feel?
Well, it just makes me feel, I guess, old. I've been in the industry for far too long. I think we've known each other since your days back in, what is it, like 15 years at least? Yeah. In some ways, it's interesting, but it just goes to show how long we've actually been on the circuit, so to speak.
And we finally have time to sit down, have a little chat here at Pocket Gamer in London. But what are you up to now? What's your gig?
Well, as you know, as you see, I'm just joined a company called Smadex. I'd actually known Geordie, who's the founder and CEO of Smadex, for years, but we'd never actually worked together. So I started speaking to him. He told me about the project, which obviously, he founded the company about 10 years ago. But in the last, I would say, probably in the last year or so, they've really started accelerating. They brought on board Pau Cavado, who's based in Berlin. He's got some real gaming DNA, and have started transforming Smadex to become more sort of like gaming focused. And we actually also have the backing of Entravision, our parent company, which is a much larger company based on listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So, they're going to be doing about $1 billion of revenue. They're very profitable, over 100 million in EBITDA. And they're very much focused on investing in companies, the digital portfolio of companies in the portfolio that can actually accelerate growth. So this is just like a new opportunity for me to see if I can help take the business to the next level.
Which is what you've done throughout your career. So I have to ask you, where are you taking it? Where are you shaping it? Because I understand what the company is. I'd like to understand what it's going to be.
Yeah. What I don't want to do is, just position ourselves as another sort of like in-app growth platform. What we have is a platform that is very much privacy-centric. We don't have the masses of device ID and graph ID data that some of the other platforms have. So by nature, we've had to be very privacy-centric. So we've been looking at, how can we use contextual signals? How can we use first-party data? How can we double down on creative and, custom product pages? And now as well, what we're doing is, really doubling down on SKAN 4.0. So we've been running campaigns at scale on SKAN 3.0. We are in discussions with the Apple support team directly, who are very helpful in terms of helping us understand exactly how 4.0 is working. Now the additional the 2 postbacks to try and understand if you can build a model to optimize for performance using SKAN 4.0. So some of the areas that we're going to be focusing around is, privacy-centric. Can we launch campaigns on, using contextual signals? And then also doubling down on 4.0 to see if we can actually try and run performant campaigns. Obviously, it's early days. 4.0 has just been launched. The traffic that we see at the moment is minuscule. But I think as the MMPs start to launch the SDKs, as the publishers start to adopt it, I think we'll start to see more traffic. And we want to be one of the first players that are kind of like testing and iterating on 4.0.
Timeline, what do you think? Is it months, years?
Hopefully you will start to see some scale in Q3, Q4. And then the other area which is interesting, which some of the other DSPs don't focus on, we've been pioneering CTV as well. So CTV has been a hot topic for the last couple of years. We've actually been running CTV campaigns for multiple gaming companies and non-gaming as well. So what we can do is we can run CTV for pure branding metrics. If you're looking at that upper funnel, just branding. You've seen players like Dream Games running, big CTV campaigns very recently. I think that's going to accelerate in 2023. The advantage of CTV is that you can actually add some level of tracking and metrics because what we can do is with AppsFlyer, Adjust, Singular, and the others, we can actually track installs from a CTV campaign as well, based on the IP address and timestamping.
Where are you seeing the really exciting results?
I'd say CTV, obviously, it's brand new. We can run it at scale in the United States. We've run campaigns of up to about 500,000 a month. So, nothing to be sniffed at, a pretty decent scale. And you can do very specific targeting. And as I mentioned, with the likes of AppsFlyer and Adjust and others, we can do that specific tracking. So you can see that, you launch a campaign, it drives an install, and you have that attribution in tracking. So if you think about what's happening with privacy, this is another area that, people need to explore. So, performance advertisers need to look at other channels rather than purely, relying on probabilistic matching. Today, probabilistic matching is working. It can drive scale. But, there are rumors. We don't know when and if. But, there is a possibility that one day app will, if there's significant adoption of 4.0, and they've offered a solution for you to run performant campaigns using SKAdNetwork attribution, then there might come a day when they, decide to call the day on probabilistic or fingerprinting. So, I don't know what your view is on that yourself. You speak to a lot of people in the industry, Peggy.
People are like, okay, I got to get my head around SKAN. Not going to be easy, but it's well worth it. You'll have some learnings and some lessons to share and some data. To wrap it up, Phil, I started, you're the Godfather, that's what I've heard. And yes, been there, done that. So we rely on you a little bit to look around the corner, see a little bit into the future. I won't ask you for predictions, but I will ask you that, what is it that games publishers are missing that they need to focus more on in 2023?
I would say, without doubt, start learning and thinking about how you can optimize for 4.0. It's going to happen, and there will be an opportunity to scale. And then, of course, as we mentioned, CTV. That's another area I would encourage a lot of the gamers to look at. If you've got budgets and you're spending millions on probabilistic matching campaigns for iOS and then also on Android, then it makes sense for you to start uncovering what the opportunities are for CTV.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you.